Alright, jumping right into it. I got some garlic confit here. I'm going to use the oil from there. And we're going to heat it up, get it all nice and shimmery. This garlic confit is amazing. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to add a little butter, knock that baby over, throw a little thyme in there. Alright, and enjoy that sizzle. Alright, so we're going to throw in some diced shallots, then some diced parsnips, some diced yellow onion, some diced celery, some diced garlic, and we're going to throw in a little bit of diced turmeric. That might seem a little different to you, but that's alright. So we're going to stir up all the veggies, throw the clams in here, pack them down real nicely, and I'm going to grab a little white wine to deglaze the pan, release all that fond from the bottom. Alright, grab a little chicken stock, bone broth, whatever you got, something light, and pour it in there just to create a sauce. Now we're going to cover these bad boys after we salted them, and we're going to let them cook for about 5 to 10 minutes until they've opened up and they're looking at you, just like this. Now I can't help but look down at these guys and, you know, just want to eat them, so I'm going to grab a couple and snack on them, but just look at them. Ooh. Alright, so grab a pot, we're going to grab a strainer, flip it right in there, and you're going to take all of your clams and drop them right in there. The key here is to keep this liquid. This liquid is going to be gold in your sauce. And here I go snacking on one because I just can't help myself. Alright, so set these clammy delicacies to the side. And we're going to look at this liquid gold here. And we're going to put it in another container because we are going to use that later. There's so much flavor in there, do not get rid of it. Unless you like bland food. So going back to the garlic confit, because I'm a broken record and I can't stop using this oil, I'm going to put in some bacon. Oh yes, bacon. So grab your multitasking shoes and we're going to cook up this bacon, get all of that grease from there. And while we're waiting on that to cook, we're going to take these bad boys out of their shells. Now, something to note, if the clam does not want to open up, don't force it out, because that guy's going to get you sick. So just, if it's closed, throw it away. So get all these bad boys out, put them in a separate pan, and keep an eye on your bacon, because let's not burn that stuff, guys, because that's just a crime. Don't do that. Stir everything up nicely and take your clams. We're going to dice them up to about the same size pieces that you cut your bacon for a nice consistent mouthfeel. Keep it on that bacon, it's getting close, so I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to save my grease. Do not throw away that grease because that is another flavor. There's so much flavor that you could possibly throw away in this recipe, but please don't. So deglaze the bottom of that pan with some more broth and release that flavor. So now grab your diced potatoes and some diced celery root, then some diced parsnip, then some diced fennel, and some diced shallots, some diced celery, some diced garlic, and some sliced up leeks, and some turmeric. So amounts aren't really key here. Whatever you feel like you want. You want a more vegetable chunky soup, use more vegetables. You want less, use less. Alright, so I'm going to throw a little oyster mushrooms in here because it adds an additional meaty flavor. Then that bacon grease, and lather that gold right in there. Whew, yeah. And speaking of gold, I'm going to add some of that clam broth, drop that right in there, and start building the basis for our soup. Throw some more white wine in there to, you know, spice things up a little bit. A little more broth. And we're going to throw in that flavor sent from the gods, the holy crispy bacon. Give everything a nice little stir. And do not forget to salt your food. This is going to need plenty of salt because it needs salt. And we're going to throw in some heavy cream. Once again, amounts aren't really key, so I'm throwing a little bit more. It's all about really what you want, what feels right. Now we're going to unsafely cut some butter in our hands because that's not what you do. Don't do that at home. Cut it on a cutting board. I'm just extra. And I'm going to drop it in there. Kerplunk. Alright, because butter makes everything better. I mean, we know that. So I'm going to throw in a couple bay leaves. And I'm going to grab a sprig of thyme. Now, when I warn you ahead of time, you should probably tie this up so it's easier to take out. I forgot to do that step. So I'm going to cover it up, let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. You also don't really want to get it to a boil like I did. You want to keep it just at a low simmer. I'm going to throw a little bit of whole milk in here because you want that fatty content. Don't use 2%. And I'm going to take my clams and drop them right in here. The reason I didn't put them in there earlier was because then they could have gotten overcooked. And we don't want them, you know, rubbery, too rubbery. Alright, grab some more of that goldy goodness, that clam juice, and pour some in there for some extra clammy flavor. And we're going to cover it up, let it simmer on a low heat for about 20 minutes until it starts to thicken from all the starch from the potatoes. We're going to remove all of the bay leaves and thyme sprigs, which if you bundle it up like I should have, it'd be a lot easier. Alright, you're going to want to let this sit for about an hour at room temperature, and all the oils are going to rise to the top. Just take a spoon, skim off the oils, and reheat it. And that's it, guys. It's ready to eat. Now, I will put a full recipe down in the description below, just like all my other videos. You guys, don't forget, hit like and subscribe down below. And as always, let's roll with it.